Anna's hands trembled as the final memory crashed through her like a freight train. Garrett Langford's fist connecting with her jaw, his voice cold as winter. "No one leaves me. No one." She'd clawed at the dirt, tasted blood, felt her life draining into the prairie dust. Now he was back, standing on Caleb's porch with hired killers at his side, demanding she return to the gilded cage she'd nearly died escaping. Caleb stood between them, a cowboy with nothing but a rifle and a conscience. She had two choices: run again and let this good man die for her sins, or stand and fight the monster who'd already killed her once. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. This story began 3 weeks earlier, on a cattle trail where death came dressed in silk. The sun was dying behind the buttes when Caleb Hart saw her. At first, he thought it was a coyote kill, something crumpled and wrong beside the trail. Then the wind shifted her hair, and his gut went cold. A woman. He was off his horse before the thought finished forming. Dust rose around his boots as he knelt, reaching for her neck. Her pulse fluttered like a dying moth. "Jesus," he whispered. Her face was a canvas of violence. Bruises bloomed purple and black along her jaw. Blood matted her hair on one side, dried and crusted. Her dress, torn, filthy, had once been expensive. Deep wine silk with lace trim. The kind of thing he'd only seen on women who didn't look twice at ranch hands. Around her wrist, a gold bracelet set with a sapphire. Caleb scanned the prairie. No wagon tracks, no horse prints, no sign of a struggle. Whoever did this wanted her to disappear. Her fingers twitched. "Ma'am." He touched her shoulder gently. "Can you hear me?" Nothing. Just the rasp of her breathing. He couldn't leave her. Couldn't ride for help. The nearest town was hours away, and she'd be dead before he made it back. Decision made. Caleb shrugged off his coat and wrapped it around her. She weighed almost nothing as he lifted her onto his horse. Her head lolled against his chest, and he felt the sticky warmth of fresh blood seeping through his shirt. "Stay with me," he muttered, spurring his horse toward home. The ride took an hour. Every minute felt like 10. His ranch appeared on the horizon. A weather-beaten cabin, a corral, one twisted cottonwood tree. Not much, but it was his. He'd built it with his own hands after the war, carved out a life in a place where no one asked questions about the past. He carried her inside and laid her on his bed, the only bed. Then the real work began. Water boiled on the stove. He found clean cloth, whiskey, needle, and thread. His hands shook as he cut away the ruined dress, revealing more bruises, more damage. Broken ribs, maybe. Internal bleeding, possibly. He'd seen men die from less. Caleb cleaned the wounds first, working by lamplight. The gash on her head needed stitches. He'd done this before, on himself, on cattle, once on his brother after a bad fall, but never on a woman who might not survive the night. The needle-pierced skin. She didn't flinch. "Come on," he said through gritted teeth. "Don't you quit on me." He stitched, bandaged, prayed to a God he wasn't sure listened anymore. By the time he finished, dawn was creeping through the cabin's cracks. She still hadn't opened her eyes. Caleb slumped in the chair beside the bed, rifle across his lap. Sleep pulled at him, but he fought it. If she stopped breathing, he needed to know. Outside, a coyote howled. Inside, the woman's chest rose and fell. Barely. She didn't wake that first day. Or the second. Caleb kept vigil, leaving only to tend the horses and check the perimeter. He spooned water between her cracked lips, changed bandages, watched for signs of infection. On the second night, she started talking, not to him, to ghosts. "Please," she whispered, thrashing weakly. I won't tell anyone." Caleb pressed a cool cloth to her forehead. "You're safe. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Here." "No. Garrett, please." The name meant nothing to him. "I'll be good," she mumbled. "I promise. Just don't." Her words dissolved into sobs that shook her broken ribs. Caleb held her hand until she quieted. Who was Garrett? Husband? Father? The man who'd done this? If you're invested in this story, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, you'll want to see how this unfolds. The third morning changed everything. Caleb was frying bacon when he heard movement behind him. He spun, spatula in hand. Her eyes were open. Gray eyes, sharp as broken glass, darting around the cabin like a trapped animal looking for escape. "Easy," Caleb said, raising his hands. "You're safe here, ma'am. Name's Caleb Hart. You've been hurt bad." She tried to sit up. Pain lanced across her face, and she gasped, hand flying to her bandaged ribs. "Don't move too quick. You got some healing to do yet." She stared at him, breathing hard, studying his face like she was trying to place him in a memory that wouldn't come. "Where?" Her voice cracked. She swallowed and tried again. "Where am I?" "My ranch, about 15 miles west of Redemption. Found you on the cattle trail 3 days back. You were—" He paused. "You were in bad shape." Her hand moved to her head, found the bandages. Her eyes widened. "What happened to me?" "Was hoping you could tell me that." She looked down at herself, at the oversized shirt he'd dressed her in, at the bruises visible on her arms. Her breathing quickened. I can't." "Can't what?" "Remember." The word came out broken. "I don't remember anything." Caleb set down the spatula. "Your name?" She shook her head, and he saw real fear in those gray eyes. "Where you're from? How you got hurt?" "Nothing." Her voice rose. "It's all empty, like someone took a knife and cut it all away." He believed her. Terror like that couldn't be faked. "All right," he said slowly. "That's all right. Memory can come back after a head wound. Give it time." "Who am I?" she whispered. Caleb looked at her, at the refined way she held herself despite the pain, at the careful pronunciation of each word, at the gold bracelet still on her wrist. "Someone with money," he said. "That dress you were wearing cost more than I make in a year. And that bracelet." She touched it, frowning. "But I don't know who you are, so until you remember—" He thought for a moment. "How about Anna? You need something to answer to." "Anna?" She tested the name. It fit like borrowed clothes. "And you said your name was Caleb?" "Caleb Hart. This is my place. Not much, but it's honest." She looked around the sparse cabin. One room, rough furniture, a life stripped to essentials. "Why did you help me?" The question caught him off guard. "What kind of man would I be if I didn't?" "Most men would have kept riding. I ain't most men." Something shifted in her expression. Not trust, not yet, but maybe the beginning of it. "Thank you," she said quietly. Caleb nodded. "You hungry?" "Starving." He brought her bacon and coffee. She ate like someone remembering how, her movements careful and precise. Everything about her screamed refinement. The way she held the cup, the straight line of her spine, despite the pain. She didn't belong in a place like this. Which raised the question, what had brought her here, and who had tried to kill her? "Caleb?" Her voice pulled him from his thoughts. "Yeah?" "The man who did this to me." She touched her bruised face. "Do you think he's looking for me?" Caleb thought about the lack of tracks, the deliberate isolation of where she'd been left. "I think he wanted you dead," he said honestly. "And I think he believes you are." She absorbed this, her face unreadable. "Then maybe," she said softly. "It's better if I stay dead." Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the cabin's shutters. Caleb didn't know it yet, but that wind carried a warning. Someone was coming, and Anna's past was about to catch up with both of them. The first time Anna tried to stand on her own, she made it 3 steps before her legs gave out. Caleb caught her before she hit the floor. "Easy," he said. "Rome wasn't built in a day." "Rome?" She looked up at him, confused. "Old saying, means you gotta take it slow." She pulled away gently, gripping the table for support. "I've been lying in that bed for a week. I need to move. Your ribs are still—" "I know what my ribs are." Her jaw set in a way that told him arguing was pointless. "I won't be helpless, stubborn." He filed that away. Whatever life she'd come from, it hadn't made her soft. By the end of the week, she was walking the length of the cabin. Slow, careful, but walking. Caleb showed her how to work the water pump. She struggled with it at first, her hands too delicate for the rusted handle. But she kept at it until water gushed into the bucket. "Good," he said. She smiled. First real smile he'd seen. It changed her whole face. The chickens were next. Simple enough. Scatter feed, collect eggs. But when the rooster charged her, she yelped and stumbled backward. Caleb couldn't help but laugh. "He's just protective," he said, scooping up the bird. "Show him you're not scared." "I am scared. He has murder in his eyes. His name's Napoleon. He thinks he runs the place." She watched Caleb set the rooster down. Napoleon strutted away, victorious. "Napoleon," she repeated. "That's fitting." The next day, she collected the eggs without incident. Napoleon watched but kept his distance. Progress. Caleb taught her to mend, showed her how to thread a needle, how to make small, even stitches. Her hands remembered what her mind didn't. The stitches came out perfect. "You've done this before," he observed. She frowned at the shirt in her lap. "Have I?" "Embroidery, maybe. Needlework. Rich ladies do that, don't they?" "I don't know what rich ladies do." But her fingers moved with practiced ease, and they both knew the truth. She didn't belong here, yet here she was, learning to survive in a world that should have been foreign to her. They fell into a rhythm. Caleb worked the ranch, mending fences, tending cattle, the endless tasks that kept a place running. Anna did what she could, cooking, cleaning, small repairs. She burned the first 3 meals. The 4th was edible. By the 2nd week, she made coffee that didn't taste like mud. They didn't talk much. Caleb wasn't a man of many words, and Anna seemed content with silence. But something was building between them. Not romance, not yet. Trust, maybe. The kind that comes from shared space and shared work. But Caleb noticed things. The way she flinched when he dropped a pan. The way her eyes tracked the horizon every time she stepped outside. The way she touched that gold bracelet like it was a lifeline to a past she couldn't reach. One evening, as the sun set red over the prairie, she stood on the porch watching the distance. "What are you looking for?" Caleb asked. She didn't turn. "I don't know, but I feel like something's coming." "What kind of something?" "Something bad." A chill ran down his spine despite the warm air. "You remember something?" "No, it's just a feeling, like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop." Caleb leaned against the porch rail. "You're safe here, Anna. Nobody knows you're alive." "Don't they?" She finally looked at him. "Someone left me to die, Caleb. What if they want to make sure the job's done? Then they'll have to go through me." The words came out harder than he intended. She studied his face, and something softened in her expression. "Why?" she asked quietly. "Why risk yourself for a stranger?" "You ain't a stranger anymore." The moment stretched between them, fragile as spun glass. Then a coyote howled in the distance, and Anna shivered. "Come on," Caleb said, "getting cold." That night, he lay on his bedroll by the stove and listened to her breathe in the bed across the room. She'd insisted he take his bed back, but he'd refused. Compromise meant he slept on the floor. He told himself the rifle beside him was just precaution, but Anna's words echoed in his head. Something's coming. And deep down, in a place he didn't like to examine, Caleb felt it too. Caleb saw the rider on the 3rd week. He was checking the north fence line when movement caught his eye. A figure on horseback, silhouetted against the sky on the distant ridge. Just sitting there, watching. Caleb's hand moved to his rifle. He spurred his horse forward, closing the distance. But by the time he reached the ridge, the rider was gone. No tracks, no sign anyone had been there. He scanned the horizon. Nothing but empty prairie and wind-bent grass. Maybe he'd imagined it. But Caleb Hart hadn't survived the war and 10 years of frontier life by ignoring his instincts. Someone had been watching. He rode back to the cabin, eyes constantly checking his back trail. Anna was hanging laundry when he arrived. She looked up, and whatever she saw in his face made her go still. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just thought I saw something." "What kind of something?" He dismounted, not meeting her eyes. "Probably just a drifter passing through." She didn't believe him. He could tell, but she didn't push. That night, Caleb checked every window, every door. He loaded his rifle and his revolver, set them within easy reach. "Caleb?" Anna watched from the table. "You're scaring me." "Just being careful. You saw someone, didn't you?" He turned to face her. "Maybe. I don't know. Could have been nothing." "But you don't think it was nothing? No point lying." "No, I don't." She wrapped her arms around herself. "They found me." "We don't know that. Who else would be watching this place? You said yourself nobody comes out here." She was right, and that scared him more than he wanted to admit. "I'll keep watch tonight," he said. "You get some sleep." "I won't be able to sleep." "Try anyway." She did. Try. He heard her tossing, turning, the creak of the bed frame, but eventually her breathing evened out. Caleb sat by the window, rifle across his knees, watching the darkness. Nothing moved. Dawn came gray and cold. He made coffee, fed the horses, checked the perimeter. That's when he found them. Boot prints by the creek. Fresh. Deep. Someone heavy, walking deliberately. The prints circled the property, coming close to the cabin before retreating back toward the ridge. Caleb's blood ran cold. Someone had been here, last night, while they slept. He followed the tracks to the fence line and found something that made his stomach drop. A scrap of fabric snagged on the barbed wire. Wine-colored silk. The same color as the dress Anna had been wearing when he found her. Someone wasn't just watching. They were leaving a message. "We know she's here." Caleb pocketed the fabric and headed back to the cabin. He wouldn't tell Anna. Not yet. No point terrifying her when he didn't know what they were dealing with. But that night, he slept with his rifle loaded and his boots on. He didn't have to wait long. Around midnight, Anna started screaming. Caleb was on his feet before he was fully awake, gun in hand, scanning for threats. But the cabin was empty. Just Anna, thrashing in the bed, caught in a nightmare. "No," she cried. "Please, I won't. I can't." He set down the rifle and went to her, gripping her shoulders. "Anna, wake up. You're dreaming." Her eyes snapped open, wild and unseeing. "He's coming," she gasped. "He's coming for me." Who's coming?" I can't remember." Tears streamed down her face. "But I saw him, in the dream, his face. I know him." "What did he look like?" She shook her head, frustrated. "It's gone. It's already gone. But Caleb—" She grabbed his arm. "He's real, and he's close. I can feel it." Caleb thought about the rider on the ridge, the boot prints, the scrap of silk. "I know," he said quietly. Her eyes widened. "You've seen something. No point hiding it now." "Someone's been watching the place. I found tracks this morning." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Didn't want to scare you. I'm already scared." Her voice broke. "I've been scared since I woke up in this bed. At least if I know what we're facing." "We don't know what we're facing. That's the problem." She was shaking. Not from cold, from fear that went bone deep. Caleb did the only thing he could think of. He sat on the edge of the bed and pulled her into his arms. She stiffened for a moment, then collapsed against him, sobbing into his shoulder. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. I brought this to your door." "Hush. You didn't bring anything. You were left to die. Remember? But now you're in danger because of me." "I can handle danger." "Can you handle killers?" The word hung between them. "Is that what they are?" Caleb asked. "The people looking for you?" "I think so. I don't know how I know, but yes, they're killers." He held her until the shaking stopped, until her breathing steadied, until the first light of dawn crept through the window. "We'll figure this out," he said. "I promise." But as he said it, Caleb wondered if that was a promise he could keep. Because out there in the darkness, someone was watching. Someone was waiting. and sooner or later, they'd make their move. The memories came back like shattered glass, sharp, cutting, incomplete. It started with a smell. Anna was cooking bacon when it hit her. Not the bacon, something else, something underneath, rich, heavy, expensive, cigars. Her hand froze over the pan. The cabin dissolved around her, replaced by something else, somewhere else. A room. No, a ballroom. Crystal chandeliers throwing light across polished floors. Men in tailored suits, women in silk gowns, the air thick with cigar smoke and champagne and money. So much money. Anna, Caleb's voice pulled her back. She blinked, found herself gripping the pan handle so hard her knuckles were white. I remembered something, she whispered. He was beside her in 2 steps. What? A party. A big one. Chandeliers, music, people everywhere. She set down the pan with shaking hands. I was there. I was important. People were looking at me. What else? She closed her eyes, trying to hold on to the fragments before they slipped away. A man. He was standing close, too close, his hand on my wrist. She touched her wrist unconsciously, the one with the gold bracelet. What did he look like? I don't know. I can't see his face, but I can hear his voice. Her eyes snapped open. God, Caleb, I can hear his voice. What did he say? The words came out in a whisper, but they carried the weight of a scream. No one will ever find you. Caleb's jaw tightened. That's a threat. It's a promise. She wrapped her arms around herself. He meant it. He was going to make me disappear. Did he say why? No. Or maybe he did and I can't remember. It's all pieces. Nothing fits. Together. Over the next few days, more pieces came. A memory of being fitted for a wedding dress, white silk, seed pearls, a veil that cost more than most people made in a year. But no joy in it. Just dread, cold and heavy in her stomach. A memory of a dinner party. Her sitting at a long table, smiling until her face hurt, while men discussed business like she wasn't there. Like she was furniture, decoration. A memory of trying to leave. A door locked from the outside, a voice through the wood. Mr. Langford says you're not feeling well. Best you rest. That name. Langford. It meant something. Something terrible. But the face wouldn't come. Just the voice, smooth as silk and twice as dangerous. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Anna finally told Caleb everything she could remember. He listened without interrupting, his face carved from stone. So you were rich, he said when she finished. I think so. Or my family was. And this man, Langford, he had control over you. Yes, I don't know how or why, but yes. And when you tried to leave, he stopped you. She nodded. I think I finally got away. And he came after me. Beat you half to death and left you on that trail. The words hung between them. Brutal and true. We should go to the sheriff, Caleb said. No. Anna. No. She turned to face him. You don't understand. The kind of money I'm remembering, the kind of power. Men like that own sheriffs. They own judges. They own whole towns. Not out here. This is frontier country. Law's different. Is it? She raised an eyebrow. You really believe that? Caleb wanted to argue, but he'd seen enough of the world to know she was right. Money talked, even out here. Especially out here, where everything was for sale if the price was high enough. Then what do we do? He asked. We stay here. We stay quiet. Maybe he thinks I'm dead. Maybe he's given up looking. And if he hasn't, she met his eyes, then we deal with it when it comes. That's not much of a plan. It's the only one I have. Caleb looked out at the prairie, at the endless stretch of land that had always meant freedom to him. Now it felt like a trap. This ranch, he said slowly, it's isolated. That's good for hiding. But it's also hard to defend. If someone comes with numbers, with guns, I know. I'm just one man, Anna. I know that too. She reached over and touched his hand. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought this into your life. He turned his hand over, gripping hers. You didn't bring anything. You were a woman left to die. I made the choice to help. You could still make a different choice. Ride into town, tell the sheriff you found me, wash your hands of the whole thing. That what you want? No, but it's what you should do. Caleb looked at her, at the bruises fading on her face, at the fear she tried to hide, at the strength that kept her standing despite everything. I ain't much for doing what I should, he said. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You're a good man, Caleb Hart. Good men get killed same as bad ones. I know. They sat in silence as the sun disappeared and stars began to prick the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, someone was looking for Anna. And Caleb had the sinking feeling they were running out of time. Caleb rode into Redemption 3 days later. They needed supplies, flour, coffee, ammunition, things he couldn't make or grow. He'd put it off as long as he could, but the pantry was getting bare. I'll be back before dark, he told Anna. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Be careful. Always am. Caleb. She caught his arm. If you hear anything about someone looking for a woman, I'll keep my ears open. The ride to town took 2 hours. Redemption wasn't much. A main street, a general store, a saloon, a hotel, a church that doubled as a schoolhouse. Maybe 200 people on a good day. But it was civilization, such as it was. Caleb tied his horse outside the general store and went in. Old Pete was behind the counter, same as always. Caleb Hart, Pete said. Ain't seen you in a month. Been busy. Heard you found something out on the trail a while back. Caleb's blood went cold. Where'd you hear that? Oh, you know how talk spreads. Someone saw you riding in with something wrapped in your coat. Figured it was a calf or something. It was. The lie came easy. Orphaned, didn't make it. Pete nodded, losing interest. Shame, what can I get you? Caleb rattled off his list, keeping his face neutral while his mind raced. If people were talking, that was bad. Real bad. He was loading supplies into his saddlebags when he heard it. 2 men outside the saloon, talking loud enough to carry. Offering $50 for information. 50! You believe that? What's he looking for? A woman. Says she's his fiancée. Went missing a few weeks back. Thinks maybe she wandered out this way. Caleb's hand stilled on the saddlebag. $50, the first man repeated. That's more money than I see in 6 months. What's she look like? Didn't say exactly, but he's got a picture. Showed it to the sheriff. Pretty thing, from what I heard. Dark hair, gray eyes, wearing fancy clothes. Every word was a nail in a coffin. Caleb forced himself to keep loading supplies. Slow. Casual. Just another rancher in town for the day. Who is this fella? The second man asked. Name's Garrett Langford, from back east, staying at the hotel with a couple of his men. Real polite, but the man lowered his voice. There's something off about him, and those men he's got with him, they ain't ranch hands, I'll tell you that. Hired guns. That'd be my guess. Caleb tied off the saddlebag and walked past the men like he hadn't heard a word. But his heart was hammering. Garrett Langford. The name Anna couldn't quite remember. The man from her fragments of memory. He was here, in Redemption, looking for her. Caleb wanted to ride straight home, but that would draw attention. So he forced himself to walk into the saloon, order a whiskey, drink it slow while he listened. The talk was all about Langford, the money he was offering, the description of the missing woman. How tragic it was, a man searching for his lost love. Nobody questioned it. Why would they? He had money, manners, and a sad story. The perfect disguise for a killer. Caleb finished his drink and left. He mounted his horse and rode out of town at a steady pace. Not too fast, not too slow. But the moment he was out of sight, he spurred his horse into a gallop. He had to get home. Had to warn Anna. The ride back felt twice as long. Every shadow looked like a threat. Every sound made him reach for his gun. The cabin appeared on the horizon, and relief flooded through him, until he saw Anna on the porch, her face white as bone. She'd seen him coming, seen the way he was riding. "What happened?" she called as he dismounted. "We need to talk." Inside. She followed him in, closing the door. "Caleb, you're scaring me. There's a man in town, Garrett Langford. He's looking for you." The color drained from her face. She swayed, and Caleb caught her arm. "Garrett," she whispered. The name seemed to unlock something. Her eyes went distant, seeing something he couldn't. "Garrett Langford? You remember him?" "Yes." The word came out broken. "Oh God, yes, I remember. Who is he?" She looked at Caleb, and he saw real terror in her eyes. "He was going to be my husband," she said. "My father arranged it. A business merger. I was part of the deal. And you didn't want to marry him. I found out what he was, what he'd done." Her voice shook. "His first wife died. They said it was an accident, but I found letters. I found proof. He killed her, Caleb, killed her and made it look like she fell down the stairs. Why? Her money. Once they were married, it became his. And when she died, he kept it all. The pieces clicked into place. And your money. My inheritance. My father's railroad fortune. Garrett wanted it. Wanted me out of the way once the marriage made it legal. So you ran. I tried. I made it as far as the trail before he caught me." Her hand went to her bruised face. "He told me no one would ever find me, that I'd disappear and everyone would think I'd just run off. Cold feet before the wedding. But you survived. Because of you." She gripped his arms. "Caleb, if he's in town, if he's asking questions, he doesn't know you're here. Not yet. I was careful. He'll find out. Men like Garrett always do. Then we leave, tonight. Head west, lose ourselves in the territories. He'll follow. Let him try." She shook her head. "You don't understand. Garrett doesn't give up, ever, and he has money, resources, men who'll do anything he asks." "What are you saying?" Anna met his eyes, and he saw something new there. Not just fear. Resolve. "I'm saying running won't work," she said. "Sooner or later, we'll have to face him. Then we go to the law, tell them everything. He owns the law, or he will soon enough. $50 buys a lot of loyalty in a town like Redemption." Caleb wanted to argue, but he knew she was right. They were trapped. And Garrett Langford was closing in. They came at dawn. Caleb was already awake, coffee in hand, watching the sun bleed red across the horizon. He saw the dust first. 3 riders, moving steady toward the ranch. "Anna," he called, voice low. "Get inside, now." She appeared in the doorway, saw his face, and understood. She disappeared back into the cabin without a word. Caleb set down his coffee and picked up his rifle. The riders took their time. No rush. They knew he'd seen them. Knew he wasn't going anywhere. As they got closer, Caleb could make out details. The man in front rode a black gelding that probably cost more than Caleb's entire ranch. His suit was tailored, his hat expensive. Even from a distance, he looked like money. The 2 men flanking him were different. Hard faces, gun belts worn low and easy. Professional killers trying to look like ranch hands. They stopped 20 feet from the porch. The man in the suit dismounted with practiced grace. He was tall, handsome in a polished way, with dark hair and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good morning," he called out. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Caleb said nothing, just held his rifle loose and ready. The man's smile widened. "My name is Garrett Langford. I'm looking for someone, a woman. I believe you may have found her. Don't know what you're talking about." "No?" Langford pulled a photograph from his jacket. Dark hair, gray eyes, about this tall. He held up his hand. She was wearing a wine-colored dress when she went missing. Very expensive. Had a gold bracelet with a sapphire. Caleb's face remained stone. Lot of women in the world. Not like this one. Langford's voice dropped, losing some of its polish. "She's my fiancée. She had an accident a few weeks ago. Hit her head, wandered off confused. I've been searching everywhere." "That's so. I'm offering a substantial reward for her safe return. $50. More if she needs medical care." "Told you, haven't seen her." Langford studied him for a long moment. Then he sighed, like a patient teacher dealing with a slow student. "Mister, Hart. Mr. Hart, I'm going to be direct with you. I know she's here. I've had men watching your property. They've seen her. The lie was smooth, but Caleb caught it. If they'd really seen her, Langford wouldn't be asking. He'd be taking. Your men are mistaken. I don't think so. Langford took a step closer. Look, I understand. You found a beautiful woman, helped her, maybe got attached. That's natural, but she's not well. She needs proper care, family, home. Funny kind of care that leaves a woman beaten half to death on a cattle trail. The words hung in the air like gun smoke. Langford's smile finally died. Careful, Cowboy. You're making accusations you can't prove. And you're trespassing. Am I? Langford looked around. This is open range, isn't it? Public land. This cabin and everything within 100 yards is mine, legal and registered. You're standing on my property uninvited. Behind Langford, the two hired guns shifted, hands drifting toward their weapons. Gentlemen, Langford said without turning, let's keep this civil. But his eyes stayed on Caleb. Cold now, calculating. I'm prepared to be generous, Mr. Hart. $500, cash. You give me the woman. I ride away. You never see me again. No. 1,000. No. Langford's jaw tightened. You're making a mistake. Wouldn't be my first. Do you have any idea who I am? What I can do? Don't much care. I could have you arrested, kidnapping, holding a woman against her will. Then go get the sheriff. I'll wait. They both knew he wouldn't. Because involving the law meant questions, investigations, things a man like Langford couldn't afford. The standoff stretched. Seconds felt like hours. Then the cabin door opened. Anna stepped onto the porch. No, Caleb said sharply. Get back inside. But she didn't move. Just stood there, chin up, meeting Langford's gaze. Something flickered across Langford's face. Surprise. Then satisfaction, then something darker. Darling, he said, voice dripping honey. Thank God, I've been so worried. Don't. Anna's voice was steady. Don't pretend, not here. You're confused. The head injury, I remember everything, Garrett. His smile froze. Do you? Your first wife, the stairs, the letters I found. Careful, Anna. Why? What are you going to do? Kill me again. The mask slipped, just for a second. But Caleb saw it, the cold rage underneath the polish. You're coming with me, Langford said. No more charm, just command. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. He took a step toward the porch. Caleb's rifle came up, barrel centered on Langford's chest. That's far enough. Langford stopped. The hired guns drew their weapons. Time crystallized. 4 men with guns. 1 woman. A single wrong move and people would die. You really want to do this, Cowboy? Langford asked softly. You're one man. I have resources you can't imagine. I can bring 20 men out here, 50. I can burn this place to the ground. Maybe, but you'll be dead before the first match strikes. Will I? Langford's eyes flicked to his men. You might get me, but they'll get you. And then who protects her? It was a good point. Caleb's finger tightened on the trigger. Caleb. Anna's voice cut through the tension. Don't. Stay out of this. He's right. If you kill him, his men kill you, and then I'm alone. Better than letting him take you. Is it? She moved to stand beside him. Because I think he'd rather see me dead than let me go. Isn't that right, Garrett? Langford's smile was a razor. You always were perceptive. So if Caleb kills you, your men kill us both. Everyone dies. Is that what you want? What I want, Langford said, is what's mine. You, your inheritance. Everything your father promised me. My father's dead. I know. Convenient timing, wasn't it? Anna went white. You didn't. Didn't I? Langford shrugged. Heart attack. Very sad. Very sudden. And now you're the sole heir to his fortune. Which means when we marry, we're not getting married. Oh, we are. One way or another. Either you come willingly or I take you. Your choice. There's a third option, Caleb said. Which is? You leave, now, and you don't come back. Langford laughed. Actually laughed. Or what? You'll shoot me. We've established that ends badly for everyone. Maybe, but you'll still be dead. True. Langford adjusted his cuffs. So let me make you a counteroffer. I leave today. Give you time to think. Consider your options, but I'll be back tomorrow, with more men. And if she's not waiting for me, ready to leave peacefully. He looked at the cabin, the corral, the cottonwood tree. Well, accidents happen. Fires start, people disappear. You threatening me? I'm promising you. Langford mounted his horse. Tomorrow, Mr. Hart, noon. Have her ready or have your grave ready. Your choice. He wheeled his horse around. His men followed, guns still drawn, backing away slowly. Caleb kept his rifle trained on them until they were out of range. Only then did he lower it. Only then did his hands start shaking. Anna touched his arm. Caleb, inside, now. They went in. Caleb barred the door, checked the windows, reloaded his rifle with hands that wouldn't quite steady. He's coming back, Anna said. I know. With more men. I know. We can't win, not against those odds. Caleb turned to face her. Then what do you want to do? You want to go with him? No, God, no. Then we fight. And die. Maybe, but at least we go down swinging. She stared at him. Why? Why would you die for me? You barely know me. I know enough. That's not an answer. Caleb set down his rifle, ran a hand through his hair. You want the truth? I don't know. Maybe I'm tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of letting men like him take whatever they want because they got money and guns. That's not a good reason to die. Probably not, but it's the only one I got. Anna was quiet for a long moment. Then she moved closer, took his hands in hers. Thank you, she said softly, for everything, for saving me, for protecting me, for being the first good man I've met in a very long time. Anna, but I won't let you die for me. You don't get a say in that. Yes, I do. Her grip tightened. This is my fight, Caleb, my past, my monster. You don't have to face him. Yeah, I do. Why? He looked at her, really looked at her. At the strength in her eyes, the steel in her spine, the way she'd learned to survive in a world that wanted her dead. Because it's the right thing to do, he said simply. And for the first time since, Langford rode away. Anna smiled. Then I guess we'd better get ready. After Langford left, the memories came flooding back, all of them. Anna sat at the table, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee she wasn't drinking, and told Caleb everything. Her father, Marcus Thornton, railroad magnate, one of the richest men in the East. Her childhood in mansions and ballrooms, her mother's death when she was 12, her father's obsession with building his empire, with securing his legacy. And Garrett Langford. He was charming at first, Anna said. Sophisticated, well-read. My father loved him. Said he was the perfect match, a business merger and a marriage all in one. When did you figure out what he really was? 6 months before the wedding. I found letters in his study, from his first wife's sister. She was convinced Garrett had killed her, had proof he'd been gambling, losing money, that he needed my sister's inheritance to cover his debts. What happened to the sister? She disappeared, just vanished. No one ever found her. Caleb's jaw tightened. And you told your father? He didn't believe me. Said I was getting cold feet, that Garrett was a good man from a good family, that I was being hysterical. Her voice cracked. He wouldn't listen. So you ran. I tried. I made it to the train station, but Garrett was waiting. He'd known I'd found the letters, had been watching me. She touched her face, remembering. He dragged me into a carriage, told me I'd embarrassed him, cost him his reputation, that I needed to learn my place. He beat you. Yes, and when I wouldn't stop fighting, wouldn't agree to go through with the wedding. She met Caleb's eyes. He told me I was more valuable dead than alive, that my inheritance would pass to my father, and my father would give it to him anyway to honor the agreement. But your father died 2 weeks before Garrett found me. Heart attack, they said. But now I know better. Her hands shook. Garrett killed him. I'm sure of it. And with my father gone, I'm the only thing standing between him and a fortune. The pieces fell into place. A picture of calculated murder, of a man who'd kill anyone in his path. He took me out to that trail, Anna continued. Beat me until I couldn't fight back. Left me there to die. Told me the coyotes would take care of the evidence. But I found you first. You saved my life. She looked at him. And now he's going to try to take yours. Caleb stood, paced to the window. Outside, the sun was climbing. They had maybe 18 hours before Langford returned. We could run, he said. Head west, lose ourselves in the territories, change our names. He'd find us. Maybe not. Caleb! She joined him at the window. Men like Garrett don't give up, ever. He'd hunt us to the ends of the earth. And even if we got away, we'd spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulders. Better than dying. Is it? She turned to face him. I'm tired of running. Tired of being afraid. Tired of letting him control my life. What are you saying? I'm saying we stay. We fight. Against how many men? 10, 20. We can't win that. Maybe not, but at least we go down on our terms. Caleb studied her face. Saw the determination there. The fire that all the beatings and fear hadn't extinguished. You're serious. Dead serious. She smiled grimly at the pun. I won't run anymore, and I won't let him win. Even if it kills us, even then. Caleb looked out at his ranch. The cabin he'd built with his own hands. The life he'd carved out of nothing. The peace he'd found after the war. All of it about to go up in smoke. But when he looked at Anna, at this woman who'd survived hell and come out stronger, he knew he couldn't walk away. All right, he said. We fight. But we do it smart. What do you mean? Langford's got numbers. We can't match that, but we've got something he doesn't. What? Home advantage. We know this land. We know the cabin, the approaches, the sight lines. We can make him pay for every inch. Anna nodded slowly. What do we need? Ammunition, lots of it. Water, food, anything we can use to fortify the cabin. They spent the rest of the day preparing. Caleb moved furniture, creating barriers and cover. He loaded every gun he owned, 2 rifles, a shotgun, 3 revolvers, filled buckets with water in case of fire, moved the horses to the far pasture where they'd be safe. Anna helped, moving with purpose. No fear now, just focus. As the sun began to set, they stood on the porch together, looking out at the prairie. You know we might not survive this, Caleb said. I know. And you're okay with that? Anna was quiet for a moment. Then she took his hand. I've been dead before, she said. Left on that trail to rot, but you brought me back, gave me a second chance, a life worth living. She squeezed his hand. If I die tomorrow, at least I die fighting. At least I die free. Caleb looked at their joined hands. Thought about the past few weeks. How this stranger had become someone he'd die for. For what it's worth, he said, I'm glad I found you. Me too. They stood there as the sun disappeared and stars emerged. Somewhere out there, Garrett Langford was gathering his men, planning his attack, counting his victory before it happened. But he didn't know Anna, didn't know what she'd survived, didn't know the strength that came from being left for dead and choosing to live anyway. And he didn't know Caleb Hart, a man who'd walked away from war swearing never to kill again, but who'd pick up a gun one more time to protect someone who mattered. Tomorrow, Langford would come. And tomorrow, one way or another, it would end. Anna leaned her head on Caleb's shoulder. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For giving me something worth fighting for. Caleb put his arm around her, and they watched the darkness gather. The last peaceful night they might ever know.